Welcome to your personalized deep dive. Getting ready for a domestic cleaner interview. Good for you. It's a job that's always in demand. And we're here to help you really stand out using the insights from these RoleCatcher guides.
Yeah, we're going to go way beyond the basics today because it's not just about knowing how to clean. You need to show them you're a pro, someone they can trust in their homes. We'll talk about how to highlight those skills, the customer service know-how, and how using RoleCatcher can give you an edge.
Okay, so let's jump right in with the classic first question. Why are you interested in working as a domestic cleaner? I mean, sure, everyone likes a clean house, right? But how do you make your answer really shine?
It's got to be genuine. Think about what really draws you to this kind of work. The career guide, Domestic Cleaner, talks about making a space that's safe and healthy for people. You can tie that into your answer.
Oh, so instead of just saying, I like cleaning, you could say something like, I find it really satisfying to create clean and organized spaces. And knowing that I'm helping create a healthier environment for people is a big motivator for me.
Exactly. A little bit of a personal touch helps too. Like growing up, I loved helping my grandma with chores. It taught me how important it is to have a home that feels welcoming and comfortable.
That's great.
Yeah.
You're sneaking in those soft skills without even saying it. Responsibility, attention to detail. Those are important for a domestic cleaner, right? The guide also mentions flexibility and independence as perks of the job. Could you work those into?
For sure. You could try something like being able to set my own schedule is a real plus for me. And being able to make a positive difference in people's lives while doing that, that's what appeals to me about this work. But be ready.
Yeah.
They might follow up with, how would you handle balancing flexibility with client expectations?
Oh, that's smart. Always be one step ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, so another common question. How do you ensure you work efficiently and effectively? Time to show off those organizational skills.
Totally. Imagine you've got multiple houses to clean, limited time, and you need to make sure you're thorough. So instead of just saying you're organized, tell them about a specific technique you use.
Like having a checklist you time yourself on, or doing things in order of importance. You could say, I break down each cleaning session into smaller chunks. I focus on the high traffic areas first, things like that.
And visuals can help. You could even use RoleCatcher's AI to make a digital portfolio with before and after pictures of your work. That way, they can see how efficient you are.
That's a brilliant idea. Okay, let's try a tougher one. Can you tell me about a time you faced a difficult cleaning challenge and how you overcame it?
Every job has them, right? They want to know you can solve problems, that you're resourceful. Was there a stain you couldn't get rid of? A surface that needed special care? Pick a good example and explain your process.
Instead of just saying, I'm good at problem solving, you could say something like, I once had a client with a light carpet and they'd spilled red wine, a nightmare. I did some research on different cleaning methods. Finally, I found one using baking soda and hydrogen peroxide. It got the stain out perfectly without ruining the carpet.
Perfect. That shows you take initiative. Oh, and don't forget to mention safety. If your story involves cleaning products, say how you made sure to use them safely.
Like, I made sure the room was well ventilated while I used the solution, and I wore gloves to protect myself and the client's home. They might ask, how do you stay up to date on the latest cleaning techniques and safety guidelines?
Show them you're always learning. Mention industry magazines, online courses, workshops, whatever you do. RoleCatcher's Career Compass can point you towards some good training programs, too, based on your experience.
RoleCatcher is so helpful. All right, now for a question where you could really show off your cleaning knowledge. What are the steps you take to ensure a high level of cleanliness and hygiene?
Think about your favorite products, the techniques you use to prevent spreading germs, and how you sanitize different surfaces. This is where you prove you're a pro.
So instead of I use disinfectant, you could be more specific, like I always pay extra attention to high-touch areas like doorknobs and light switches. I make sure to use a hospital-grade disinfectant on those to really eliminate germs.
Right. Or you could talk about using different methods for different surfaces. Like for hardwood floors, I use a microfiber mop with a gentle cleaner to avoid streaks and damage. Oh, and they might ask, what are your thoughts on using eco-friendly cleaning products?
Good point. More and more clients are environmentally conscious. This is a chance to show you're on top of the trends. You can talk about using vinegar and baking soda, plant-based cleaners, whatever you use.
It shows you understand what clients care about. And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can help you weave those keywords from the job description into your answers naturally. Okay, brace yourself, because here comes a question no one likes. How would you handle a situation where a client is unhappy with your work?
Ooh, that's a tough one. But it's about staying calm under pressure, right?
It's all about customer service, making
That's
sure
not.
things are done right and that the client is happy. Start by acknowledging their concern.
So you'd say, I understand you're not satisfied with the cleaning, and I'm sorry for any inconvenience. Could you tell me more about what specifically wasn't up to your standards?
Perfect. Listen to what they have to say, then offer a solution. I'd be happy to re-clean that area for you. Can you show me what you'd like me to do differently?
That shows you're willing to go the extra mile. RoleCatcher can even help you practice these tough conversations. Their AI gives feedback on your tone of voice, making sure you sound professional and empathetic. Speaking of follow-ups, they might ask, can you share a time when you successfully resolved a client complaint?
Have a good story ready, one that proves you can handle tricky situations. Okay, switching gears to time management. How do you prioritize tasks when you have multiple homes to clean in a day?
Super important in this line of work. You have to be organized and get things done. You could mention using a planner, blocking out time for each house, having a set routine.
And don't forget, the career guide mentions working independently. You could say something like, I create a schedule for each day based on what the client needs and how much time I have. And I always factor in travel time between houses so I can stay on track.
That shows you're on top of things. And since we're talking about being in different homes, let's talk about safety and security.
Totally. You can say, being efficient is important, but safety always comes first, especially when I'm entering people's homes.
Perfect segue. So next question, how do you maintain a high level of safety and security when working in clients' homes?
Trust and professionalism are key here. The guide talks about respecting privacy, which is huge EE. You can mention things like locking up when you leave, being careful with valuables, paying attention to your surroundings, and always getting permission before entering any areas that are off limits.
You're not just a cleaner, you're someone they can trust. Okay, let's test that specialist knowledge now. How do you approach cleaning tasks that require extra care, like delicate fabrics or antiques?
Time to show them you're more than just a basic cleaner. Think specific products, special techniques, maybe even a success story. Tell them how you adjust your methods depending on what you're cleaning.
For instance, with delicate fabrics, I always check the care labels first and use a gentle cleaner to prevent any damage. And when I'm cleaning antiques, I do my research to make sure I'm using the right methods and products to protect their value.
Excellent. You're showing them you care about doing things the right way. And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can really help you here. Let's say the job description mentions they need someone who's comfortable cleaning antique silver.
You can plug that into RoleCatcher, and it'll help you tailor your answer, adding all those relevant details. Okay, we've covered so much already. Time for the last question in this section. How do you communicate with clients, and how do you make sure you're meeting their expectations?
Communication is super important in any job where you're providing a service. So think about how you interact with clients, how you make sure everyone's on the same page, how you give updates, and how you handle feedback.
You could say something like, I believe in being open and clear. Before I start cleaning, I always double-check the client's priorities and if there's anything specific they want me to focus on. And before I leave a note explaining what I've done and ask for their feedback to make sure I'm consistently meeting their needs.
That's a great way to show you're committed to customer satisfaction. And hey, RoleCatcher can even help you rehearse those conversations. You can use the AI to simulate tricky situations, like dealing with a complaint, so you'll be ready for anything.
We've already covered so much ground, you're going to ace that interview.
And there's more to come. Welcome back. So you're feeling good about that interview. That's awesome. But now, let's think bigger picture. How do you build a successful career as a domestic cleaner? Because it doesn't end with just getting the job.
That's where this career guide,
Yeah.
Domestic Cleaner, comes in.
Yeah.
Right? It's got so many great tips on taking your cleaning skills to the next level. This section on specialization really caught my eye. It's not just about cleaning anymore, is it?
Nope, not at all. Think about it this way. You wouldn't go to a heart surgeon if you had a toothache, right? Cleaning's kind of the same these days. Clients are looking for people who really know their stuff, experts in certain areas.
Okay, so where do you even begin? What kinds of specialties are we talking about?
Well, remember how we were talking about eco-friendly cleaning earlier? That's a big one. People really care about the products used in their homes, and that's where you can stand out.
So it's more than just using different cleaners, right? What does it really mean to specialize in green cleaning?
It's about a whole different approach. using natural biodegradable products, reducing waste, even thinking about how much energy you use. It's about being good to the environment and the client.
So sort of paper towels, you'd use microfiber cloths, things like that.
Okay.
Or maybe you'd make your own cleaning solutions with things like vinegar and baking soda.
Exactly. And you can even bring this up in your interview. When they ask about your process, you could say, I'm really committed to eco-friendly practices whenever I can. I'm always looking for ways to be more sustainable.
It shows you're not just knowledgeable, but you actually care about this stuff. You're going the extra mile.
Exactly. Speaking of going the extra mile, the guide also mentions deep cleaning as a specialization. That's when you're tackling those really tough jobs.
Oh yeah, like when someone moves out or after construction's finished, those jobs that need a lot of muscle and some serious know-how.
Exactly. Not everyone can handle a really dirty oven or those stubborn grout stains, but you can. You're the expert.
And you can probably charge more for that too.
Well, yeah, specialization usually means higher pay. But it's also about finding what you enjoy, what you're good at. Maybe you love the challenge of bringing a neglected space back to life.
Or maybe you're really into tech and you love using those new robotic cleaners. The guide mentioned those are becoming more popular, right?
Oh, yeah, especially for big houses and businesses.
Mhm.
If you're comfortable working with those machines, you could really carve out a niche for yourself.
Wow, so many options. It's almost a little overwhelming.
It can be, but that's where RoleCatcher can help. Remember that career compass tool we mentioned? It can help you figure out what you're good at, what you enjoy, and even suggest some training programs you could take.
It's like having a personal career counselor right in your pocket. And once you've got some experience in a specialty, you can use RoleCatcher's resume builder to really highlight those skills. You can tailor your applications to exactly the right jobs.
Exactly. It's all about showing what makes you valuable. But even with all the special skills in the world, there's one thing that's always important: learning new things.
Right. Things change all the time in the cleaning industry. New products, new methods, even new rules and regulations. How do you stay on top of everything?
The guide suggests checking out online courses, going to workshops, maybe even subscribing to some industry magazines. It's like continuing education for your cleaning career.
And it's not just about learning new techniques. You got to stay informed about safety too, especially when you're working with strong chemicals.
Absolutely. Oh, and don't forget about networking. Go to industry events or join some online forums. That way, you can connect with other cleaners, share tips, and see what's happening in the industry.
You're not just learning, you're building connections. You might even find some mentors along the way.
Exactly. The guide also has some good advice about how to really market yourself and your skills.
Like creating a portfolio. Not just with those before and after photos, but maybe testimonials from happy clients too.
You could even build a website or use social media to show off your work and build your brand.
Like your own little cleaning empire.
Maybe not an empire, but definitely a successful business built on your passion, your skills, and your commitment to doing a great job.
This has been so helpful. So we've talked about how to nail that interview and how to build your career. But what about the day-to-day? What's it actually like to be a domestic cleaner? Okay, welcome back to the final part of our domestic cleaner deep dive. We've talked about the interview, we've explored those career paths, and now I really want to know, what's it actually like to be a domestic cleaner? Like day in and day out, what's the reality?
Let's imagine a typical day. You've got your schedule, you're heading to a client's house, cleaning supplies all ready to go. What's the first thing you do?
Well, that career guide, domestic cleaner, really emphasized being professional from the start, right? So showing up on time, looking the part, being ready to work, that's got to be important.
Absolutely. That first impression sets the tone. And remember all that stuff we talked about earlier, communication. Don't forget that. Before you even pick up a mop, take a minute to connect with the client.
Oh, right, like a little check-in. Good morning, how are you? Anything in particular you'd like me to focus on today?
Exactly. Make sure you're on the same page, that you know what they want, it shows you're paying attention, and that you actually care about doing a good job for them.
And then it's cleaning time. But I'm guessing it's not just about following the same routine every time, right? Every house is different.
You got it. That's where those customer service skills really come in. You might need to change things up depending on what the client likes, what kind of house it is, even the time of year.
Okay, give me an example. How would you clean differently for a family with little kids compared to, say, an older couple?
Well, if there are young kids, you'd probably focus on sanitizing those toys and play areas, maybe use gentler cleaners that are safer. But for an older couple, you might be more careful about preventing slips and falls, making sure those walkways are clear and everything's dry.
It's almost like you're reading their minds, knowing what they need before they even say it.
Exactly. Those little things can make a big difference, like leaving a note that says, "Enjoy your sparkling clean home," or asking if there's anything else you can do for them. It shows you care.
Okay, so that's how to make those clients happy. But what about the tough parts of the job? The guide mentioned dealing with demanding clients. Any tips for handling those situations?
Clear communication is key. And setting boundaries. You're a professional, and you deserve to be treated with respect. If a client's constantly asking for too much or being rude, you gotta say something.
How would you do that? I think I'd be a little scared to confront a client.
Just stay calm, be assertive, but focus on finding a solution. You could say something like, "I appreciate you letting me know what you prefer, and I always try my best to accommodate that. But mention the specific issue, and I want to make sure we're both clear on what's possible, within the scope of what we agreed on."
That's a great way to put it, firm but professional. And what if things get really bad or you feel unsafe? You should have a plan for that, right?
Absolutely. Your safety is the most important thing. If you're ever in a situation that feels wrong, you have every right to leave. And if you're working for an agency, make sure you contact them.
That's good to know. Okay, so we've talked about the challenges, but let's end on a high note. What is some of the best things about being a domestic cleaner?
Just imagine how good it feels to take a messy space and make it clean and welcoming. You're really making a difference in people's lives. That feeling of peace and order, it can really affect how people feel in their own homes.
I bet that's super rewarding for a lot of cleaners.
Yeah.
And the flexibility and independence, that's got to be a plus too.
Totally. You get to set your own schedule, work on your own, and if you want to, you can even start your own business.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I think it's clear that being a domestic cleaner is about way more than just cleaning. It's about being professional, having those customer service skills, paying attention to the details, and really wanting to make people's lives a little bit better, one sparkling clean house at a time.
And remember, with everything we've talked about today, those RoleCatcher guides and all their amazing AI tools, you're totally ready to not only get that perfect cleaning job, but to build a career you actually love.
So go out there, make those houses shine, and remember, a clean home is a happy home.